It's the Swole Patrol. It's the Swole Patrol talking to Vinnie Tortorich. Once again, he has a documentary about fat, and you will eat fat, but you will get thin. Doesn't seem to make sense, but it is true. Just look at Vinnie and his washboard abs. Yeah. All the dietary cholesterol will give you a boner, and your sperm count will go up.
Wow.
Way up.
Always good.
Thanks.
Always good.
Mike, how do you pull that off?
He channels.
I've
channels
told
from
Drew
somewhere else.
Many times, and Drew will back me up on this. He's noticed throughout the entirety of our radio career together, if I put any thought or any type of preparation into something, it never goes well.
He screws it up.
So you don't even think about it driving here. You don't go, oh, Vinny's coming in.
I've literally gone to see him do sort of stand-up stuff where I go, did you write that all out beforehand? No, just did it right up there.
Right on the spot. Because every time I come in, you do it, and I look at you, and I go, wow, he's not looking at a piece of paper.
He's channeling. God puts thoughts in his head. He channels it.
But can you make a living out of that? That's my question.
I had up until this point. I'd been doing pretty well. So we'll see. I mean, if I can parlay that into something. Maybe podcast jingles. Just go around as the podcast jingle guy. Thank you to Douglas Pinsky, the great and talented Douglas Pinsky, for the intro music. The music that you hear me singing over and bastardizing, that's actually something that he came up with. And he's available for, to make jingles for anything you may need, commercials, also podcasts. Go to drdrew.com. You can find some more information, place orders for Douglas Pinsky. Super talented dude and a very, very proud homosexual. Vinny, close friend of the show and always great to talk to you. I know that you had been a big proponent of a fat-fueled kind of existence and a high-fat, lower sugar, lower carb diet. The NSNG, hashtag NSNG is your thing, the no sugar, no grain. But I did not know that you were working on a documentary about it, and I'm excited to check it out.
For the past 2 or 3 years, everyone has come to me and said, documentary, you have to do. And every time something comes out like Forks Over Knives or a Cowspiracy or something, they'll say, you have to do it. Even when that sugar film came out. Yeah. Look, they did no, that's not my documentary. That's their documentary. And about a year ago, Drew and I were together. We took a fabulous picture one night. It was at the premiere of one of Adam's
car movies or something.
Yeah. And I was talking to Mike August that night, and I said, Mike, everyone is telling me to do a documentary. You know Mike August, right? Mm-hmm. The guy's like a savant. he goes 500. I said, Mike, what are you talking about? 500, 500,000, 500,000. You need 500. It's like he turns into Rain Man. Right. And I said, well, why do I need 500? I don't have to clear anything. I don't need music. I could get Catherwood to do these stupid songs between everything for free, probably. Yeah. Why do I need to clear stuff? 500,000, 500. And I said, Mike, you didn't hear me. Yeah. So every time I would talk to someone over at Corolla, it was 500. Or I talked to his guy that actually does his documentaries. Can't think of his name. He said 400, and he was stuck on 400, right? So then people, and Serena's here in the background today, and she'll tell you. We've had people come to me and say, hey, we want to do a documentary with you. We want you to be the guy. And I would always say, look, since my face and everything, if it's me, then we have to make it my, I
has
can't
to be
say
your thing.
Right, it's got to be my thing. And we got really close with the guy. And the guy said, look, I will sign off. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And then he went out and got money. He got I think $300,000. Nice. Right? And he comes to me and goes, hey, we have $300,000. He goes, but you know that one thing you told me you would never do? I said, yeah. He goes, they want that.
Oh, boy.
And I said, how would they
your
even...
face on it.
You're right. And I said to him, it was like infomercial world all over again. I used to turn down infomercials in the 90s. I said, well, how do they even know about that idea? I told you I wouldn't do it. It's an idea that sucked. And he goes, well, I was scrambling in the meeting, and they wanted more ideas, and that popped out of my mouth, and they loved it. I said, they loved it because it's schlocky. People love schlock. and I won't do schlock.
Wait, what's schlocky about you being on the documentary?
No, they wanted me, but they wanted me to do this. Did you see What the Health and how they basically lie their way through a documentary?
Yeah.
They wanted me to do that kind of thing.
They
wanted me to do a propaganda film. They wanted me to go, hey, this is the guy that knows all this stuff. He's going to interview all these doctors, and we're going to make it a certain way.
Right, a point of view.
Right. They wanted a POV that I wasn't comfortable with. And I said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I just given up. And the next week, I was doing Adam Carolla's show, and I always do the first segment. And usually when I'm walking out, like a Jeff Goldblum is walking in, or, Norman Lear, someone like that, some really interesting character. But this one guy walks in, and he holds his hand out, and he goes, big fan. I'm like, how can you be a big fan? I don't have fans.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I've lost like 70 pounds doing your thing.
Nice.
I said, what's your name? He goes, Peter Pardini. So I never listened to my appearance on the Carolla show, but I listened to Peter's part. Say that 3 times really fast.
Peter Pardini's part on Carolla.
On Adam Carolla. Peter Pardini's part. So it turns out he was he did a documentary on the band Chicago.
Okay.
It's called Now More Than Ever. It's out, it's won awards, it's done all this stuff. And I watched the documentary, and I called the guy and said, I love this documentary. He goes, I'd love to come on your podcast and talk about how I lost weight. And that started the conversation of me and Peter doing a real documentary, not some propaganda film. And that's where we are. We're doing an actual real documentary where we're going to get heart doctors. By the way, they're lining up. Everyone's lining up to do this. We're going to have heart doctors. We're going to have people talking about cholesterol. We're going to have people talking about high fat. I'm inviting every one of the vegan doctors on the show. Now, whether they show up or not is a different story.
Right.
But I want to make a well-rounded documentary.
It sounds so appealing because in the world of nutrition, somehow the world of training has been able to avoid this. Some people are into really heavy weightlifting. Some people are into endurance. Some people are into, CrossFit, whatever. But usually people will be like, hey, I like this for me, but you do what you do. If you get
with training.
With nutrition, there's ideologues, and there's people who get just absolutely wrapped up in their way of thinking. And everything else is not only wrong, but you are bad. You are immoral.
Yeah, this is so weird. I was going to bring this up today. Now that I have adopted the higher fat, high protein
I hate
thing.
you so much, by the way.
I know.
Oh, why? Because you've been telling him to do it for 5
Yes.
years?
Yeah.
Listen, welcome to my world.
He comes to me one day, he goes, hey, do you know this guy, Shaun Baker? I went, yeah, he's been on my show a gazillion times. Yeah, I'm doing this thing. I just lost it. I hate you right now.
I can't tell you how many times.
I know.
By the way, not only with nutrition and health stuff. I mean, it'll be like comics.
Yeah.
In 2004, I'd be like, you got to check out Louis C.K. Guy's really funny.
Yeah.
Drew's texting.
Yeah. He's doing
2013. Why didn't anybody ever tell me about Louis?
And so look, I resisted you even doing this time, if you remember, right?
What?
Doing you were
this time around, even and I think it wasn't until Dr. Baker came on the show.
No. I'll remind you what happened, but be that as it may, what were we talking about here? So now just because one of the reasons I resisted was I have large vessel vascular disease in my family. I've told you about this, and so I really don't know I still to this moment I'm concerned that I'm doing something. I'm going to probably adjust my cholesterol medicine, but even then, that's
the stuff you don't need. But go on,
because the story is incomplete. What that even means, we're not really sure. But to be fair, I mean, I'm trained to keep that LDL towards 70. Yeah. I mean, I'm trained to do that.
Did you
get with somebody with large vessel vascular disease? I'm going to.
But Drew, why are you trained to do that? Because the ADA and the World Health Organization, and everything JAMA ever wrote,
it's the American College of Cardiology.
Right,
but
they're on board. Where do you think they get their information from? There is no look. If you have small particles in your LDL, you have a problem.
Right?
Do you have that?
I'm certain I do. The LDL-C you're talking about? The LDL-C?
You need to do the particle test.
Yes, I have that.
I want to see. You got to go do another particle test.
Okay. Well, I'll do it on the diet, but I'm clearly a hyper absorber of cholesterol, amongst other things. Because when I get on Zetia, it just crashes. It goes way down. So that's fine. What's the big downside to me doing that?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, right.
You'll die sooner, but that's neither here nor there.
Not necessarily. Again, I have a specific disease in my family, and I'm trying to avoid that.
The things are skewed for you.
Yeah, I have a special risk. Genetic stuff's going on, and exactly what that risk is not that what worked out and what contributes to it and stuff. Whatever. But all I know is that I could never get my cholesterol down. I went on a statin early, and my calcium score is 0. That's extraordinary at my age.
Really?
Yeah. Given
what
was
history. Your calcium? So the drug reversed your calcium score?
No, I never had one. I just went on it early because I saw what happened to my father.
How's your calcium score, Mike?
Yeah, good. Everything's good for me. Except liver stuff is concerning. But
what?
What?
From what?
I don't know. I think maybe
steroids,
alcoholism. And I don't know.
Yeah, but that reverses.
Yeah, it does.
How long have you been clean?
Well,
16 years.
Then he threw steroids on top of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't cause.
Yeah, no, but I do pretty regular.
You have a Hep C panel?
Yeah. I'm good. I do pretty regular blood work, and the only thing that's ever been concerning to my physician was my liver.
Okay, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That needs to be explained, by the way. But in any event, so I've been doing this thing, and I'm taking the position that hey, this is really working for me, and we'll talk about it, and I'm not recommending it.
You look very lean. You look good.
You look leaner now. The last time I came in, you looked leaner. So you were lying to me at that point. You were doing the diet. You were sitting right where Mike is sitting.
No. I was doing an intermittent fasting diet at that point, mostly plant focused, and starting to lift heavy weights.
Okay.
And I was dying of hunger all the time.
Which is not good.
Not good.
Ghrellin's always high.
Right. And was not feeling as great as I do now. I feel like remarkably good. Bottom line.
How's that boner?
All good.
It's all
coming around.
That's the Shaun Baker effect. He's always sure to point that out.
I want to let everybody know I'm 62 years old. I've never once touched any type of Cialis, any type of Viagra, anything like that. Meat heals, and it not only does it heal your body, it heals.
We got to talk about all that
boner.
stuff too. But I don't know how you feel about that, Vinnie. But be that as it may, so now I'm saying I'm not recommending it. I'm doing it. I'm just reporting it. The plant guys are up my ass.
Oh yeah,
but I want to say this though, in defense of the vegan maniacs, it goes the same way for some keto maniacs. I'll be like, well, if you're in glycolytic sports, if you're a college soccer player, I wouldn't recommend necessarily like a ketogenic diet. Then I get 50 guys on my ass. What do you know about ketogenesis? Blah, blah, blah. All right, dude.
It's crazy. It's Antifa
is
versus the right.
It's symptomatic of our political landscape. Yeah. It tells me that our politics are a reflection of our fucked up psychology.
Right.
Yeah.
But why is it isolated to nutrition as opposed to all of the fitness?
It's religious. I can answer that because, and I want to address this in my documentary. If you take veganism, and I'm not going to harp on veganism here, but let's just take veganism because you can say the same thing about paleo, right? Because they're so divisive, those two. Veganism did not exist until 100 years ago, 1918, when a crazy woman had a premonition in the middle of the night. She had a vision. She was a Seventh-day Adventist. It started off in religion. People don't realize this. She had a premonition, and she worked for Dr. Kellogg, a guy who was, number one, speaking of libido, against sex altogether.
Cornflakes. He invented cornflakes.
He invented cornflakes.
He had the Kellogg Institute for Health, which was a cult.
Completely bizarre.
It was a cult, essentially. Yeah.
He didn't believe in masturbation. Right? He didn't believe in any of this.
That's blasphemy.
Just across the board.
Yeah.
So this whole Seventh-day Adventist.
I beat off during this podcast.
Check out the drunk. Check out the drunk history on this. It's pretty good.
It's not.
It is. It's with Owen Wilson playing Kellogg.
But he literally, this woman who worked for him came to him and said, "I had a premonition that people should not eat any sort of other animal." And Kellogg, being as smart as he is, looked around and went, wait a minute. I want everyone to eat my cornflake, so we might as well just make this a mandate.
Yeah.
amongst our people.
But what about if this story that you're telling is not BS?
It's very true.
It's very, very true. But what about? I was just thinking when you're saying that it never existed before 1918. What about like Hinduism and things?
No, that's not veganism though.
Okay, does it?
That's just vegetarian.
That's vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And vegetarian's been around for a long time.
Forever.
Sure. Yeah.
But just as strict eating like a cow wasn't around before that. So the first question that comes up, you see, veganism didn't take hold because there were no exogenous vitamins back then. Vitamine wasn't invented until, the 1930s? It was by a German doctor who came up with
First World War.
Yeah, it was a German doctor who they were having scurvy, right?
Mengele.
Was scurvy?
Yeah, I think it was about the First World War.
Wasn't him.
That's my only German
it was
doctor
the first
reference.
So vitamin C was the big one, and vitamin D.
Yeah, and when they were able to pull that out and isolate it, then all of a sudden you have exogenous vitamins, and once you can make B vitamins in large quantities, and especially B12, which vegans cannot get, now you can start a movement. So that vegan movement couldn't start until you had exogenous vitamins that people can take away from.
The man and the pharmaceutical companies?
Go figure, right? Go figure.
I never understood why. Now, okay, I will cut and the vegans seem to have the most vocal, outrageous kind of attack machine, but at the same time, I do think they have the biggest gripe to make, and that is if you're out there saying like I'm a big paleo fan and I'm going to yell at people who aren't paleo, I go, what the fuck's your problem? If you're going to yell at people because they're taking part in factory farming, I go, okay, at least you have there's a leg to stand on there because I want to invent more animals to eat them. I eat as much meat as possible, but I'm the first one to say we got to figure out a way to bypass this
factory
system.
farming. Yeah. Look, that's a whole different podcast, a whole different day.
Sure,
we could get into fact. Yeah, we hate it. We don't do it. We eat grass fed. We eat. We find some guy that looks like Wilford Brimley, bringing him in on horseback and, killing him kindly. Serena was telling me that they wash it down before, the blood from the cow before, so that the next cow doesn't even see the blood. That's the meat we get. But not everyone can get that, so we have a problem.
I don't know how it is around the rest of the country, but here in Southern California, you have access, even if you're not a hunter. Yeah. You can order game meat. Get some elk or some venison, and you order it. It comes frozen right to your door. And believe me, that's the most humane way to get your animals, because if you don't shoot them in their face and kill them instantly, believe me, it's going to be way worse.
Yeah.
A bear's going to eat them asshole first.
Or
absolutely. It's gonna be nasty. So how far along in the process of a documentary are you?
We start tomorrow officially. It's actually open today.
Okay.
So we wanted to do a soft opening on the.
So it's done.
Yeah, on the Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started Indiegogo. We literally opened it today. It's called. You can go to fatdocumentary.com and get right in and give. And we opened it today. We didn't think anyone would find it or see it or anything else. And I think, Serena, are we at $8,000?
Oh, you have service?
Oh, wow. There's service in the building?
Well, not really, but
she's using her phone. We've had a Wi-Fi problem today.
So today is Saturday, the 5th of May.
Right.
So tell them how long it'll be open.
It'll be open for 32 days. We're officially calling Monday the first day.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But today is a soft opening. Tomorrow's, just we're going to keep riding it out. But some of the fans are ravenous about this whole thing. Unlike what Mike think we need, Mike August. We need at least $150,000 to do it. We would like $250,000, but we've both agreed, me and Peter Pardini, that at $150,000 we could get this thing done. This is not about us making money. I'm already out of pocket. I've gone out of pocket significantly just to get it rolling.
What is the plan? What's the structure of what you're going to do? Do you have specific interviews in mind, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're going to. We already have we have doctors lined up.
Are you going to panel them, like do a little moderated debate?
Yeah, unlike a lot of these documentaries that are being done today, where there's no Michael Moore in it. There's no agitator. There's no Bill Maher like when he did Religulous or anything. I'm going back to that style. I'm going to be in it. I'm going to be interviewing these guys. So it's going to be a 2-camera shoot.
But what about a panel of doctors? That to me sounds interesting. Like
because I want each doctor to be individual.
Right. You're going to get the view very quickly. You have a bunch of people
exactly. You're going to have
other.
people yelling over each other. I want to tell a succinct story of how this happened, where we are, and how we could turn the ship around. I want to answer the cholesterol question. I want to answer the statin question. And since I'm not a doctor, I need doctors to answer these questions. And I have this guy, Rangan Chatterjee from England. He's on the BBC. He's a big deal. He already agreed to be in it.
Beautiful.
So, I can say it because he agreed on air. I want to get Tim Noakes, who's been on my show 4 or 5 times. His government has run him through the mill in South Africa for merely suggesting in a tweet to a mother with a newborn that this kid should be eating vegetables, meat, and eggs. And they're saying this guy should be hung. He was tried. He was set free, no problem.
he was tried.
Trial of the century. Do you not know about this?
No.
I know of Mr. Noakes, but I did not know.
He went through 2 years. I did his podcast.
Tried for a tweet in which
he went on trial.
For what?
In South Africa, they tried to take his medical license away. He's been an adjunct professor at this college, and they tried to ruin his life, take it all away from him. He goes to trial. He gets everyone from Nina Teicholz to Gary Taubes to you name it. It was a who's list of people running through that courtroom in South Africa. And the judge finally went, there's nothing here. They said, innocent. But in South Africa, you can keep trying people. They're doing it again.
Wow.
And they're going to – this taxpayer money, they've spent millions, and they're going to spend millions again.
To do what?
To say that what he's saying about meat is wrong. Because,
just to silence him? Or
no, because –
why does he move?
Because if he's right,
then
everything else that the World Health Organization, the ADA, the AHA, JAMA – that means they're all wrong. And these people know they have blood on their hands.
Wait a minute. What does he say exactly?
He's saying exactly what I say. Eat meat, eat vegetables, eat eggs. And they're saying, no. This is not healthy food for kids.
Oh, for kids.
Look it up. So
is he a pediatrician?
No, he is not a pediatrician. We can look up what he is. He's a medical doctor, but he's not a pediatrician.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Same thing is going on in Tasmania. A guy named Gary Fettke, who is an orthopedic surgeon, sort of like our guy, Dr. Shaun Baker, who it's cost him millions of his personal. He's been on the show a couple of times. Fettke is chopping people's limbs off with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So he looks around and figures out, if I could get these people off of sugar and grains, I can stop chopping their limbs off. He was successfully doing that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The Tasmanian government came down on him and said, no. You stop all this craziness. Go chop people. He went on trial. These people, they will be in my documentary. This is a documentary showing what's going on in this world today with doctors.
Have you heard of the fact that governments get involved with mandating diet and speech is disgusting to me. Right?
Our government is doing it.
It's one thing to make recommendations, but to mandate thought, speech, and diet. Think about that.
Yeah.
Far from the Founding Fathers' intention. But have you heard
we love to talk shit and bemoan how our government has degraded. But we're still pretty damn lucky in comparison to a lot of countries.
Oh, we are.
And by the way, even compared, you don't have to go to third world countries. In comparison to places like Canada, we still have a lot more freedom than a lot of people.
Go look at Jordan Peterson's
life.
Yeah,
poor Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Lectin. You heard that whole story?
The lectin story. Here's the problem with lectin. And I want to hear what the story is, but
I'm going to give
lectin is in everything.
Well,
how do you walk away from lectin? Is in every living cell.
I've got a book for you that describes that, and it calls into question.
It's called Lectin La Vida Loca.
It calls into question the possibility that plant-based diets have a hidden liability in them. There's plenty of liabilities in meat-based diets too. We all are aware of them.
But what are we supposed to eat? At the end of the day, we're carnivores. First and foremost,
we're omnivores.
We're omnivores. But listen. Let me tell you how. All right, so you take Gary Fettke in that part of the world. You take, let's call South Africa over here. You take that part of the world, right? Then in America, I'm going to throw a name out. Dr. Michael Grieger, who is, he's a vegan doctor. He's a real lefty vegan who can go around telling people that eating one egg is equivalent to smoking 5 cigarettes a day.
Oh, boy.
Does he go on trial? No.
No.
He will say that eggs, the chicken egg, will cause type 2 diabetes when, in fact, it's 0 on the glycemic scale. Right. Would that cause diabetes? Yeah. No. He will say that eating a hot dog is equivalent to 10 cigarettes. They can make films about this. Dean Ornish, same thing. I could go down the list. Dr. Oz. Now you got me excited. Dr. Oz just became the president on physical fitness, whole thing, right? Okay. This guy tells people that kombucha, kombucha, whatever this crap is, green tea, raspberry, ketone, all this crap. He can yell this shit from the rooftops to millions of people every day.
Yeah.
Not a fucking thing happens. 0 happens.
Yeah.
People go, oh, my God, Oz is wonderful. Oprah found him. Oprah's twat doesn't stink. Everything she does is fine. So you're dealing with that, right?
Yeah.
I've talked to Gail. It actually doesn't stink. But,
no, it doesn't. It's very fresh. And by the way, we talked about this yesterday. I'm going to tell my Oprah story in the documentary to talk about how media can skew things. I've been on Oprah twice.
Yeah.
The first time, my first appearance on Oprah is the 7th highest ranking Oprah show in history. Now think about that show. She had Tom Cruise doing trampoline on the fucking couch.
Yeah.
Okay. My appearance, the 7th top.
So what did you talk about that got so excited?
I asked Cher out on national television back in 2003, right after she broke up with Bagel Boy. That was a whole different story for a different day.
Yeah.
But when I tell the story of how they can just skew something and make it look a certain way, because nothing that happened on that stage that day was real.
Yeah.
Right? That story needs to be told. And guess what? The guy doing the documentary has that story. I can back it up. I can substantiate it.
You mean nothing that happens on television is real?
Right.
Yeah.
But people, I want to tell. I don't want to lambaste Oprah in any way in the documentary. I just want to say, look, here's what happens. I was the guy that used to be a model. I used to be on all these things saying, oh, this works, that works. I know it doesn't work. That needs to be put out there. Sure. And no one is doing that in the documentary.
Good. Hey, back to Shaun Baker, back to him. The one thing we did not discuss with him, maybe you know something about Vinnie, is he had his license revoked in New Mexico for a period. What was that?
He will not. He's been on my show twice or 3 times. I've asked him a couple of times.
He's practicing in California now, right?
He said that he was practicing again soon.
Oh.
He did not tell me.
Did he say what happened with that licensing?
Off the air, he told me a story.
Okay.
And when I asked him the second time off the air, he told me a similar story to the first story, but it wasn't exact. Oh. So I'm not sure.
I think he talked about it on Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
I think, if I recall. But
I don't know. What did he say on Rogan's?
I mean, I don't remember in general. But I mean, as long, like, the way I look at it is if he has the ability to get his license back, which it sounds like he does, then he wasn't fucking children. You know, so I'm like,
I don't think it was that.
I think that's all I care about.
I think it was kind of like a Gary Fettke thing in Tasmania,
well, that's what
where
I'm wondering.
He was like talking, and the people in his group were saying,
told
the party. I think that's what really happened to him.
But that should not be a license revoking situation. It's just not. Usually, a license revoke is surgical incompetence, psychiatric stuff, real behavioral disturbances. I mean, I wonder, or something horrible happened, some surgical misadventure, and he agrees as part of the settlement. I'm out of New Mexico, that kind of thing. Right. So that kind of story,
right? He didn't talk about it on the air.
Yeah.
So
okay,
what is, there's always limitations to every lifestyle, and I do think that if I were to recommend, in a broad sense, if I were to be, in my opinion, as responsible as possible to a broad general audience and giving them dietary advice, I would lead them down your path, the no sugar, no grains.
Right.
But what are, if any, the downsides to that style of eating? Can you think of any where you would say, now in this situation, I don't think this is an optimal?
That's a great question.
The convenience of it.
Expense.
I can make a great argument.
I'm just telling you, it's expensive if you.
Right.
I'm sure you can figure it out.
There's ways to figure it out. Yeah. People who don't make a lot. It's very tough to tell a guy who's, cleaning your garden, look, you're making $100 a day, go feed your kids this way. It's impossible.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, I mean, I guess calorically it's cheaper, but I went to a fast food place with other people the other day, and I'm not commonly frequenting fast food, and I didn't realize now, like Jack in the Box is still $20.
Is it really?
Yeah, for like a large man to eat his lunch, it's $18. It used
at
to be
Jack in the Box.
So my point is like I could buy lunch at Erewhon or Whole Foods for that money. It maybe even a little cheaper. So I don't know how it would break down in the long run, but I have to
as
think,
somebody that's a recent adopter.
Yeah, but you're a lace curtain foo-foo dude. You're probably dining on filet mignon 4 times a week. I mean, 4 times a day. So it's hard to.
No, I'm not. But yes. But I would prefer to. In fact, I worry that I'm not eating high enough quality meats and things because I don't. I eat a lot of deli turkey and other stuff during the day. A lot of eggs. A lot of
not as
bacon
good to
because
do that.
Vinnie told me I could have bacon. Yeah. Not as good because it's lean.
Well, a lot of the meats, a lot of the stuff you get from Boar's Head and Oscar Mayer and the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
not high quality, right? That's
not
the
the
stuff.
high. It's not the
right.
highest
That's what
quality
I worry
stuff.
about. That's exactly right. But
I
even
worry
that
about
is
it too.
expensive.
He eats bacon all day and steak all day.
That's fine.
And
Sounds beautiful.
I can't eat. I love bacon. I used to love meat and bacon as a kid.
He
and
told
I
me to
was
do it.
Super skinny. I loved it, bacon, but my mom wouldn't let me eat bacon all day. Although
You
that's
had a
what I did on
horrible
my
mother.
birthday.
Yeah, see,
I ate 5 pounds of bacon on my birthday, but I just worry about him, all the sodium and the fat, and
again, sodium is another one where people got it.
Let me tell you a story on that. So I'm hypertensive.
Right.
I'm on a couple of blood pressure meds, and I've always been sort of marginally under control. I had to take them to get under control. She's been on me about the sodium. I'm eating too much bacon, blah, blah, blah. I took my blood pressure on Wednesday, the lowest it has been in 10 years.
I believe
10
it. Okay.
years.
I get it.
Susan, let me tell you a quick
Listen,
story.
It's
and
my
I'm telling you,
favorite
it's
food.
this.
I'm
It
Chuck.
is this.
I come from
Susan,
sausage. And
Look at him.
It is this.
He's
I
getting
know.
tight.
I see him.
I'm telling
He
you.
had a gut.
Yeah.
That gut.
Yeah.
No, he did. It's
It's
gone.
an audio format.
Let me tell you a
Go
quick
ahead.
story.
I
Drew's
personally
pointing
get
at
up
his
and
belly.
see that. It's a lot better. He looks great. He looks fabulous. He's got a lot of energy. He sleeps better. He doesn't snore as
True.
much.
That's all true.
He's like
I just went to the dentist today. My gums were better.
Yeah, your gums will grow back
How
in.
weird is
His hair
that?
Dentists
grew
will
in.
tell you once your
My
gums
gums are
recede,
better.
Your hair
they come
grew
back.
in.
My
too.
hair's growing fast. It's the weirdest goddamn. If you would, I would not have believed you. If
You didn't
anybody-
believe me, Drew.
You didn't.
Your
I wouldn't
idiot
believe
buddy
anybody.
Corolla believed me,
I
but
wouldn't
you
believe
didn't
anybody that
Yeah.
I would be experiencing this.
He
'Cause it doesn't-
also quit drinking alcohol, so that helps too.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
He drinks less. He drinks whiskey now.
Well,
once
the
in a
thing
while.
about alcohol
bourbon
is you
and
drink one and you get drunk whenever you live this way. It's true. One gets you there
No,
like,
it's true.
like
so,
that.
So I'll drink a.
he smokes pot every day. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I'm thinking about it.
don't get into that, Drew, please.
If you're going to get into any drugs, it's got to be testosterone.
I'll tell you a quick story, Susan.
And
He
growth
doesn't-
hormone.
He doesn't really need that.
This will change the way you look at all of it. Serena and I went to get one of those scans where they scan your whole body.
scan.
Yeah.
Waste of money.
Yeah. Okay.
Waste of money. Anyway,
All right. So, what was it, Serena?
Why don't you give her a headset?
you have one, Susie.
Here.
Here, put her headset on. So, Serena Scott Thomas, everyone.
Yes. Hi there.
That's not what it was. What it was a thing called life screening, where they do they test.
They do the vascular screening.
Exactly. It wasn't
they-
the whole body
Okay, so
scan.
it's ultrasound screening.
Right.
Okay,
right.
that's fine.
So it was
That's
ultrasound
fine.
screening.
Yeah, yeah.
It was to test your peripheral something or
yeah,
other.
yeah,
I don't know what.
plethysmographs and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay,
Right.
that's
Right.
fine.
Okay.
Over and out.
Perfect.
Okay. So we
Nice.
came out, both of us.
you, babe.
She's 56, I'm 55. We came out perfect. They said, you have absolutely no clogged anything, the
Yeah, yeah.
carotid, the
Yeah.
widowmaker, all of it perfect.
Yeah.
But they had us write down what our diets were before the thing.
Oh, and they probably did counts.
So they come back to us and they go, everything is perfect, except you need to change the way you. It's like, Who would tell you to do that? You told me I'm perfect. I'm 55, right?
That's like someone coming into a session with the Rolling Stones in '74 and going, "The album sounds perfect. You need to change the lineup of the band."
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
But you need to kick out Keith and Mick. I mean, it's
you can't have that drug addict in your band. You can't have that.
It's very strange.
But it's so reflective of what's going on in our country today. Wherever
it's identical.
It's so weird to me. It's unpleasant.
I want to go back to what you said when people started coming after you,
Yeah.
the vegans and all that. Yeah. There's a woman, you need to get her on this show, Lear Keith. Lear Keith was a big-time vegan, and she, very smart woman. At some point, she realized that veganism was killing her. You know, she was going downhill over years. She started when she was a teenager. She's in her 30s or 40s. She lives in California. She changed over to become a meat eater and became a proponent of eating meat. The vegans came after her so hard that she's been attacked on stage.
Yeah.
They've attacked her on stage. In California, she has a concealed carry. Her life is always in danger from the vegans. Can you imagine that?
And I have no quarrel with the vegans. Like I think that's
me either.
We all know it's Hezbollah, ISIS, vegans.
But vegan's a lovely way to live, and it's good, and good for and probably for some people.
For moral reasons, it really is something
really good,
very admirable.
And well, I don't know, it's moral. I'm not sure I put
No. Okay,
we're raping the land. I mean, we have we don't have ruminants out there doing.
If your motive is for simply because you don't like being a part of taking animal life.
Yeah.
I think is very admirable.
Yeah.
I just don't think
I'm not sure it's a moral,
from a purely
it's an
nutritional standpoint.
I know I couldn't do it. I couldn't live like that.
It lacks in nutrition, and because it's so limited, you have to cover your diet. You have to get calories from somewhere, and most people are not just going to live on cruciferous vegetables. They're going to go to quinoa and spelt and everything else.
Yeah.
And
but that's the same problem I think a lot of people have when they start to poke holes in like a meat-based diet, is that they say, well, my uncle eats nothing but meat and he's unhealthy. And then when you analyze it, he's eating hot dogs and
he's smoking 3 packs
and he's eating processed bacon. If you look at a vegan diet that is based in purely fresh vegetables, obviously it's going to be different than the person who's eating tofurkey and soy chocolate bars, which is unfortunately a huge amount of vegans that are eating vegan faux foods.
And I'm convinced that it's the central fat distribution is the key thing.
They get the beer belly, the vegans do.
But to the extent that some people can deal with that by other means, good on them. For me, I can't. This is the way I have to deal with it.
I have a family friend, and they're very good people. I mean this. It's nothing to exclusive of their dietary practices, but they're both vegans, and they have a 2-year-old.
That's not good.
And they're feeding the kid purely vegan diet.
That concerns me.
And he has the starving baby thing, where his belly.
Kwashiorkor?
No, he's like skinny all over, but he has that giant pregnant belly.
Has that been? It's kwashiorkor. Has that been?
I don't know.
Has that been? That's child abuse then.
Well, that's what I. But
look,
who am I?
Someone's on trial for that.
I'm not a doctor.
Why aren't there pediatricians?
I don't know.
Oh my God,
that's a tough one. You can't say anything.
Kwashiorkor,
or can you? As a doctor,
should call you.
Listen,
I'd have an obligation to. I'd have to call Child Protective Service.
My daughter eats like she's on the Outdoor Channel.
Tell Drew who they are.
Yoked
Drew,
I always see her in donuts and cupcakes.
That's the only thing I put pictures of, because I honestly I'm scared to put pictures of her eating a ribeye, because I don't want people to come after me.
Your own daughter?
My daughter eats ribeye.
I want to see a picture of your daughter eating ribeye.
She eats it off the bone. Like when I'll carve the meat off, and then I'll give her an inch of meat around the bone, and then she eats.
That is
bone.
Kate Shanahan's big thing: eat the bone, right?
Yeah, eat all the ligaments.
And Kate's
and everything
big
else.
on fat. Right?
The other day she took some Brazil nuts, and I spooned bone marrow on top of it. And she ate it like it was cereal.
I love you, daughter.
How does your hippie wife deal with that?
My wife?
Your hippie wife?
Yeah, but my wife eating gets her.
She's Czech.
Her dad's
she goes Czech all the way.
My wife used to take vintage Soviet shotguns out into the woods and eviscerate, everything in the Pacific Northwest with her brother and father. So that side of her, my wife's a weird conundrum in that she's a real hippie,
Bohemian hippie.
Mike?
Czechoslovakia.
She's from the Pacific Northwest, but her dad is a Czechoslovakian immigrant. He escaped communism.
So they have those old CZ shotguns.
He was a Czech communist refugee doctor.
Anesthesiologist or the
anesthesiologist.
Her mom was an anesthesia nurse.
Her mom was an RN. And her dad was an anesthesiologist, and they met at the hospital. Yeah. But so she has this weird, super macho kind of her dad's Czech side, like very no nonsense, super macho thing. But she's also like a weird Whole Foods.
Where's her hippie? What part? Like where does she?
Let me tell you, I gotta fucking smell weird essential oils because it brings in good chakras every night.
That's right.
And then she burns some sage over our bed to give it.
I got one sitting right over there.
I know. That's the shit I do.
Where'd it come from? What? Her mom's not really like that, is she? And her sister's
a veterinarian.
She's an actress. That's why. Hey, Vinnie, I have a question.
Yeah.
How can we incorporate more different items into Drew's menu so that I don't have to eat steak every day? Like,
what's in it?
It's a good question.
Now?
Like, like I'm trying to get him to cook a pork chop.
I did.
Maybe.
Had it last night. It was great.
Okay, fish.
Fish. I always love fish, but it's harder to make.
And Serena will tell you, I'll eat fish over anything else.
Yeah,
right.
I love
so
fish.
like, give us an idea of how to go out from. Like, he's been on this diet for 3 or 4 weeks. I get my shopping bill is very high. Like it used to be $150. Now it's $300 because I've got all this steak and all this.
How many?
meat.
You're not feeding kids anymore, are you?
No, but I mean, I have other groceries too because I eat I'll get vegetables and
right.
stuff
and
like
Drew,
that.
Drew's an eater.
But it is
Drew
very
fucking
expensive.
puts it away when he sits down to eat.
You
Drew
guys
puts
are
it away.
But now it's game on, right?
You're promoting a very expensive diet. Okay, if you want to know, just so you know, the marketing bills have doubled, but I just want him to go to the next step. He's been in this ketosis for a month or whatever.
I don't feel like I'm ketotic.
And it's not.
It's not a feeling, Drew. You feel good?
Well, I've been ketotic.
No, but I mean, how does he incorporate? How do we start adding new food, and what can I make for us so that it's not just steak?
The woman who does all that
bacon
is
all day?
literally sitting right behind you, and she's on the mic. Serena?
Yes.
Where should we go next?
Were you paying attention, or were you taking a nap back there?
No. I was totally paying attention, but it's such a long answer that it doesn't.
But give a short version of it.
Well, I don't know what you're eating, so
steak and bacon.
And eggs.
I got him to
Steak and
eat
bacon.
some Brunschweger.
Well,
and sausage. And eggs.
I don't like to eat that much meat myself, but because I feel bad for the animals, and I hate factory farming, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
See, that's my hippie mind.
Nice. Yeah, no, I can't bear it. And so, but when I'm running a lot, I crave a lot of meat. Interestingly, so just goes to show that you need it. But I like to eat meals that are not loaded up with red meat. So I'll make a lot of chicken, a lot of fish, seafood, sometimes vegetables. You can make a soup, hot or cold, and have it with a nice big salad and a nice wooden board with lots of different kinds of cheeses on it and some nuts, afterwards. It doesn't have to be, a protein, a vegetable, and your substitute for potatoes.
My Mexican blood, I shiver when I even say this, but Drew doesn't like avocado.
Oh, no, he said,
are you serious?
I love avocado. Oh, no, I love avocado.
What? Since when?
Since
I used to eat them whole
at
at KBC, and you'd be like, I don't understand how you do this. It's just crazy to me to sprinkle salt on an avocado. I don't understand.
Oh, we do that all day long. That's
I
one
love
of the best
avocado.
fruit.
Eat that.
Yeah, I do eat that
every day.
But I've now become like phobic of carbohydrates.
You're such a woman, Drew.
I'm an OCD.
He goes.
Oh, you think?
He's all done with the work. He goes, "Would you cook me a steak?"
Yeah.
And in the morning, can we bake up some bacon? And I'm like, God, it smells good and it's great, but I just think he needs to get to the next level.
So I can't eat eggs all the time like Vinnie eats like 5 eggs for breakfast every day.
Yeah.
And that would
I
make
eat 2 eggs with 3
I
extra
eat eggs
yolks.
like twice a week, maybe.
No problem.
So I've discovered in the summer something I like for breakfast is mozzarella and tomato salad.
Nice.
For breakfast.
Yeah, that's
It's like
good.
you got to get your head out of the, this is breakfast food, this is lunch food.
There's ways to do it. Avocado, tomato.
What do you put on
burrata,
salad?
Oil, just olive oil,
And
and
salt.
salt and pepper.
No balsamic.
No,
Sometimes.
Apple cider.
Why not balsamic?
I
Too
tell-
much sugar?
Sometimes.
There's some sugar in it.
Yeah.
If you get the really good stuff, I tell people, my grandparents and my parents, they would just take a little white vinegar. You just need a little bit to activate that acidy taste on a salad.
Also, apple cider vinegar will actually help regulate your blood sugar response too. Yeah. So to
a degree.
Now, my thing is apple cider vinegar.
You could do like a pesto with it too.
I'll do macadamia nut oil,
herbs and oil, and put it in.
I'll do macadamia nut oil. Macadamia nut oil. Okay. I mix that with apple cider vinegar and sea salt.
You're good.
Do you like meatballs?
Sure.
Do you like meatballs, Susan?
Yes.
I have a fabulous recipe for NSNG meatballs.
Okay. There we go.
Well, I know Anna Vocino has that great cookbook too, and it's all gluten free.
Yeah, it is, and most of the recipes.
That in?
Absolutely. Anna's book, you can use about 85% of it. She puts the reason it's called Eat Happy is because she wanted people to not be like Drew and be OCD. And literally,
I am happy though. I'm not unhappy with it.
No, but you could do a lot of Anna Vocino's recipes.
Yeah, I love her book, but I just want him to know that we have to incorporate something like this into your diet, and we have to think like that. I mean,
at the beginning, people get gung ho, and this is working so well.
So much, that's the thing. You're so it's like, oh my god,
and you're sitting there. Look,
I don't want to lose this.
We talk to people. I get thousands of emails a month. Yeah. You've changed my life. Yeah. I've lost 200 pounds. I've lost 150. And they're scared that they're going to lose it at some point. Like they're on a tight wire with no net.
It's like sobriety.
Well, it feels like that. It feels like if I start chipping on carbs, it's over, number one.
No.
But then again, if I generalize too much and not really know what I'm doing, I'm going to lose the way I feel. So it's two things. I feel like I'm going to backslide into carbs, which is the addiction part of this. And then also I feel like I might stumble into something that takes me out of how great I feel.
Here's the thing.
If you want to eat steak and bacon every day, it's a lot easier for me. I don't have to buy anything else. So
Vinnie told me to do it, so I did.
Vinnie said
but then you have to cook 2 different meals. It's a pain.
I just get my own food and I'm fine.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing.
I don't have kids, so it's a lot easier. I can make like a chili. I'm going to make you a lamb ragu.
Good.
Which, one of these days when I get around to it.
Okay,
Stuff like that. Yeah. Like a chili, but just all meat.
We'll do things like we'll do sausage from Trader Joe's.
Yep.
And we'll cook them, and then they're there for 2 days.
Yeah, those are good.
Or hamburger meat. You could go to a really good market and get the high hamburger meat.
That's what he does.
Yeah, and just do a hamburger. Just scorch it and go. Yeah. Fish is so simple.
Oh, I know.
It's just so simple to do.
Shrimp's a good one.
Shrimp.
I'll be shrimp with some grass-fed butter. Come on now.
We were running around yesterday. We walked into a Gelson's. We got the big thing of shrimp, the
like the cocktail shrimp, yeah.
Yeah, the really
salad.
Nice, whatever shrimp salad. And we got a bowl of guacamole, and we just sat outside of Gelson's and had guacamole and shrimp. It doesn't get any. It's like a kid. You get to eat all the icing and not have to worry about.
You can eat as much as you want. Just eat protein.
I have some cockamole for you, Drew, if you'd like.
Right now? Right now or later?
Well, but I have another question. When he started this diet, like week 2, he started getting really kind of aggravated.
Yeah, I had a weird irritability.
He yelled at somebody.
I yelled at somebody. I lost it at work. Yeah,
And he wasn't feeling as sexual, I noticed. But I didn't say anything because I didn't want you to feel bad.
I do think.
But I did tell Mike.
To correct me if I'm wrong.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Vinny. But I do feel like a lot of times, especially if someone's shifting from a dramatic amount of sugar or carb intake.
But I know what that is. When you have that full withdrawal syndrome.
Well, it's not even a withdrawal. I think that when the body's shifting fuel sources, preferable fuel sources, that there's a almost like a flu effect.
Yeah,
people
they call it
the keto flu.
They call it the keto flu. They used to call it the
I know what that is.
flu.
I know what that feels like too. I had none of that. I immediately, within 2 days, started feeling like better.
Yeah, but you were pissed off at everybody.
Well, I got a little hypomanic. Like I had too much energy.
Really?
Yeah. And that was irritability that came with the hypomania.
Sometimes I find myself with too much energy. I just go out and run. Yeah.
I'd stop running because I was doing all the heavy lifting that Mark Bell got me to do.
Yeah.
And it was.
I screwed up. Do you listen to everyone that walks in here? Drew?
Well, we're experimenting. I'm experimenting with.
Was it Mark Bell or Chris Bell?
Whoa, we had both on, but Mark was the one who took him downstairs and actually got him.
That made me
it's
do it.
nice when you have a guy who squats.
You're cheating on me with Mark Bell.
Well, no, but that's how I got to the diet because
right.
I started putting on weight, but my joints started getting better doing the heavy lift, the powerlifting, and then switched, and the story from there. But my joints got a lot better with shifting the diet.
It's a lot harder when someone's 260 pounds and squats 700 pounds and they demand that you lift.
He was here that day when I was here.
Yes.
But here's the crazy thing. Gary Taubes, in his book, Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It, or it might have been A Good Calorie, Bad Calorie, he addresses this.
Yeah.
Because that man has studied more than anyone else.
Yeah. Addresses what?
He addresses that irritability. He says, you know, when you think about, people think that fat people sit on the couch because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Fat people sit on the couch because their diet doesn't offer them any energy.
Yeah.
And their brain, even though they might have 400 pounds of energy to burn on their body, their brain thinks they're starving. They think they're emaciated out in the desert with nothing to eat because the ghrelin and leptin and insulin is all whacked out, right? Mm-hmm. But when you reverse that whole thing and you start using fat as energy, you find that you have too much energy at first.
Well, that's what happened.
And you don't know what to do with it. And you're driving down the freeway and you want to just jump out of your car and just run down the freeway.
Yeah, that's what happened. And that kind of settled down.
Heart palpitations, too. I've heard people say heart palpitations.
Yeah, that'd be normal, but I don't really know.
But yeah, that's what happened to you.
What I thought I was having was maybe the carb withdrawal stuff, which is the irritability and the desperation, all stuff. But this was not that. This was just sort of I don't know.
No, that's exactly what happened to you.
At Vinnie Tortorich at Vinnie Tortorich on Twitter, and then fatdocumentary.com is where people need to go, and then all the Indiegogo stuff is there for everyone.
Yeah, you go to Fat Documentary, right, Serena, it crosses right over to Indiegogo, and that's up right now, and we think there's 8,000. I'm
7,000. There's about
7,
just over 7,000 right now.
Yeah, and I'm shocked that anyone actually did it today because we just put it up there. So
I think
really
people
excited.
really want to help us help them.
Yeah.
Well, it's to me, it's a story that can help people, and so people ought to know the options or understand there's different ways of looking at these things. And I have no problem, as you know, looking at different ways of, when it comes to human physiology, it's so complicated. That's why I've told you, that's why I like Kate Shanahan. She goes, look, I'm a biochemist. It's too complicated to say anything. I can say something about X, which is the fat metabolism, so she can talk about tallow versus canola oil.
Right.
That she can say something about, so she does. But anything else, it's really open for interpretation, and science is an evolving phenomenon. It's about breaking down old theories and developing new ones. That's how science evolves.
But Drew, the interesting part about that, and you're absolutely right, is that before we let science get in the way of everything, people were healthy. I always say, go back to the Zapruder film. Find the fat guy in the Zapruder film. Go back to 1969 Woodstock. Find the fat guy at Woodstock. Go to Kent State.
You didn't find a fat guy in that whole situation until Jack Ruby came along.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
You had to go to a Teamster.
And by the way, go watch Soul Train. Remember the Soul Train line?
Yeah.
Find the fat person in Soul Train.
Or, watch the original Bad News Bears. There was the fat kid on the team.
Who would look skinny now.
Yeah.
And, and I recall, even I'm not ancient, but, I understand I'm not a spring chicken. But at the same time, when I was in Little League in the 90s, we had the fat kid. It wasn't as if the team was overweight.
Right. But people will look at with corn syrup and that as they blame that. They also associate with the family systems operating the way they do, and people.
I think that's a bigger aspect of it than people like to give credit to. I used to growing up, and it wasn't just for affluent families. Pretty much everybody I knew had one single parent working and one parent at home. Right. Everyone I knew, and I now know, having a child myself, not any of the parents that I'm friends with aren't. Every single one of them is a dual income household. Right. Every single one.
Well, you have to be just to get by.
And it used to be like I said, my friends' dads who were cops, their mom stayed home. It wasn't as you didn't have to be balling out of control to be able to support that household. I didn't.
Right. It was a different time. It's different now. It is different, and that does change the way kids eat. We need to adjust to that.
Well, and also, people say it's corn syrup, it's gluten. The reality is,
it's all these things.
I know. Well, I think it's hyper palatable food. Hyper palatable food is wildly impossible not to overeat.
Yeah.
I mean, to really take time and think about how you try not to overeat bread.
Yeah,
it's almost impossible.
It's impossible.
And I dare you, Dr. Drew's living proof. I fucking dare you to overeat steak and bacon.
You can't.
It's very difficult.
I'm pretty good at it though.
But
it's
expensive. You guys,
the
really
difference
expensive.
is the difference in the two is I always use this analogy when I'm on stage. If you have a family bag of Doritos, you can empty that bag by yourself, and if no one was looking and there was no social pressure, and you had a second bag, you can empty that one too.
Yeah. Easy.
One family bag of Doritos happens to be 17 ounces of corn.
Wow.
Right? Over a pound of corn.
Oof.
Yet, if you ate a 12-ounce filet and they brought you another sizzling 12-ounce filet, you would say, pack it up, I'm taking it home.
It reminds me of a very good story.
We're here, tell it.
I believe I was in Bruges. I was in somewhere really beautiful and amazing in Europe.
Were you high?
No, I was with my family.
Okay.
And I was young. And I was at dinner with just my father, who's a very fat man. And we were having these amazing lamb chops. And my dad just fucking devours it like he's Diamond Jim Brady's. And without asking, and this was a restaurant where the waiters are in tuxedos. I mean, It was one of those. Without even asking anything, another one just comes out from the kitchen and he placed it in front of my father's face. They played. And I was like, Dad, you understand that they looked at you and they watched you eat and they're like, oh, yes, sir, we understand you're a giant fat ass. Don't worry. We won't embarrass you in having to ask for another lamb chop. We present to you, sir, another one.
We're so impressed.
Yeah.
The gusto with which
Did
you
you say
consumed
Italy?
our lamb chop.
Was he in Italy? Where was he?
No, this
Bruges.
wasn't. It was like Prague or Bruges or so. It was somewhere.
Oh, that sounds
European and exotic.
I gotta say, it sounds Bavarian. That sounds like Bohemian stuff.
But it also sounds Italian, right?
Italians too.
They would do that kind of.
Yeah, but
they would tell you. They'd be like, you are a bigger fat.
No,
look at you, a fat American, a bigger belly. It's great. Let me fuck your wife.
In Prague, they have pride.
They don't ask. They just do.
They had pride in how much meat the men would eat when they returned from the field. When we went to the Blue Duck, my son and I, they go, oh, here's the end of the day feast thing. We're like, all right, we'll split that. They brought out this thing the size of I don't know how to describe it to you, with an unbelievable amount of food in it.
And the guy was Vinnie and
You
Swole
can eat
who
duck.
brought it out.
Yeah. He can eat duck, right?
Oh, yeah, all the duck you want.
I don't like duck.
You don't like duck?
No,
I don't like duck either.
What the duck's wrong with you?
I grew up in southern Louisiana, and I'll eat alligator, frog. I'll eat
alligator.
anything.
I like crawfish. I like
Chicken.
Duck. I'll eat
chicken.
duck.
I get very burned out on very quick. That's the thing about being chicken.
Yeah, chicken sucks.
It doesn't suck. It just
How about
chicken
the
sucks compared to real meat.
Anna Bocino's chicken, fried chicken, is amazing. Can he have? He can
Yeah.
have almond.
Yeah, you can, but you have to be careful. Almond flour has become the new. Oh, you could just almond flour
It's just
everything,
gluten-free.
but it becomes carby if you have too much.
Yeah. Right.
If you're having a couple of pieces of chicken with,
Can you eat almonds
yeah.
and nuts?
What about
Again, but you're not going to eat the amount of almonds that you will put on.
In almond flour, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there nuts that are an issue?
And they're processed.
The best nuts you can have.
Is
First, pili nuts.
Pili are the bomb.
What are
It tastes like a stick of butter. Oh, I love pili
It's like
nuts.
putting butter in your
What
mouth.
is
It's like
it?
macadamia kind of?
It's
Better.
got more fat
Yeah.
than macadamia.
How do you
and,
spell that?
and it has the lowest.
Pili. Go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click through my Amazon banner. You'll see them there. You can also get pili nut butter there too.
Yeah. It's the
So
best.
peanut nut, macadamia nuts.
Macadamia second. Brazil nuts, your daughter.
Yeah, I don't like
Walnuts.
I feel like I'm on Best in Show.
cashews.
Yeah.
Cashews.
Cashew is
You
the-
got your
is farthest
cashew
down the
nut.
list.
You
Low
got
fat.
your
Well,
walnut.
cashew's lowest in
You
lower
got
fat
your Brazil
and
nut.
It's high in
You got
carb
your
and
peanut.
relatively
It's not
low
really a nut.
in
but
fiber
we'll
in
throw it in.
comparison.
I love
to
that
the carb
movie.
That's why I
content.
crave that stuff.
Yeah,
Still
no, I mean
talking.
it's almost like the sugary nut.
Screw them.
Yeah.
Let's have our own conversation, Susan.
You know what? If I get a hankering for sweets, I will mix chocolate stevia and coconut milk.
Chocolate
And it tastes like a milkshake, and it's got like 3 grams of carbs and a shit ton of healthy fats.
Coconut milk's full of sugar, though.
No, not coconut water. They're like plain coconut cream. I get the the isolated coconut.
Yeah, that's fine.
coconut cream.
Yeah.
You can use coconut butter. You can use coconut oil. I eat that stuff like it's
Warm up
nice.
some coconut butter. Oh my god, it's good.
Okay.
Really?
See, I'm getting better.
I feel like a Samoan warrior.
Rub it on
just
my
like
back.
just coconut butter.
We were
Shake
in
it off.
Mexico. She got into the coconut cream. She thought we had the coffee and stuff. Is that good?
Yeah, you could do that.
Well, it was in a can. It was kind of sweet.
No, wait. Coconut cream is the one with the sugar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
it was bad.
No, you can't. No.
It's like the
You
Thai
could-
one.
I thought you meant coconut oil.
We were
Corolla,
avoiding dairy.
Corolla was doing that for a while.
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
But but it's good.
Vinny, it's always a pleasure, sir. Again, it's fatdocumentary.com is where I want to lead everybody to, and also at Vinnie Tortorich on Twitter, and it is also on Instagram as well.
I'm on Instagram now. I have like 3,000 or 4,000.
And I have to apologize to Vinny on this podcast as well as on his podcast for not listening to him sooner. But that's my OCD stuff.
Wait, and before we go, one more thing. Drew, my understanding is Carolla won't put you in any of his movies.
He never will do anything, yes.
Yeah. I'm asking you right now on air.
Oh, yeah.
Would you please be in my movie?
100%.
Good. So it's a movie with Dr. Drew.
I would like to moderate. Yeah, that's why when the idea of doctors fighting it out, I thought, I'd love to moderate that.
Just
panel.
moderate that.
Yeah.
Like Teen
or
Mom.
whatever you want from me.
We'll figure out something for you.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you in a movie because you're a smart guy.
I'm in. It's all
you're
good.
looking.
Well, no, and what
we
helps,
need eye candy.
And
Drew.
there's not a lot of real physicians.
Take off your shirt.
Honestly, there's not a lot of real physicians that lift heavy like him and have the guns that he has. I mean, it helps. It helps get the point across.
No, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
And to be fair, interestingly, a lot of the guys that do are on the orthopedic side.
Yeah,
I'm on the internal medicine
What
side.
is that all about?
They wanted me to be an orthopedist because I was.
Because you have the guns?
Yes.
Yeah.
They groomed me for ortho. They were like, "Oh, you come with us, man."
Because you smash bones and stuff. It's awesome.
And I liked ortho. I liked it, but I was too much up in the head.
That may be the most metal job. But no, dentist. Dentist is a pretty metal job.
No, ortho is mallets and hammers.
Yeah, but
you have no idea.
Putting
Saws.
your foot on someone's chest and ripping their teeth out, that's fucking metal.
All right, fair enough. But I'm one of the few, physiologically oriented doctors that does the weightlifting and stuff.
And Drew, here's the thing. I've always been told that the orthos are like the rock stars of when they walk down the hall, right? In the hospital.
Sorta.
Plastic surgeons, right?
Well, it depends what you mean by that. I mean,
the surgeons are the rock stars.
They make more money.
Yeah, they're the rock stars. They're driving a big Porsche.
Chest surgeons are
They're not driving like an Audi something.
Yeah.
No, they got like Porsches and shit, right?
the ortho made a lot of money. That's why a lot of smart guys went into it. But the chest surgeons and the trauma surgeons, those are the guys. That's the top.
But look at you. You became a rock star all on your own, not being one of those guys.
What about proctologists? That's my favorite.
They're deep in shit, those guys.
Hey-o.
Whoa, hey.
Hey, now.
I'll show myself out.
Let me wrap this up by saying another thing. Look, and I'm not saying that there's a lot of clinical evidence here that goes into making this argument. But with Vinny, the proof is in the pudding. He professes this lifestyle and eating this way and training in a certain way. I would never guess that you were 55 years old. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And you're shredded to the bone. No, really. I'm saying so you walk it like you talk it. So there's a good ringing endorsement there. So there you go. Vinnie Tortorich again, at Vinnie Tortorich on Twitter, now Instagram, and then also fatdocumentary.com is where I encourage everyone to go to and give to that Indiegogo because this is a movie we all need to see. Find all the shows we have on drdrew.com. Click on the banners. Tell a friend. Find us on Twitter. I'm at Mike Catherwood. Dr. Drew is at Dr. Drew, of course. And the First Lady of Love, Dr. Drew's wife, and our amazing producer at First Lady of Love. She is in charge of Swole at Swole Patrol Pod, which is, in fact, the Twitter account for this here podcast that you're listening to.
I want to mention our friends at Bergamet Sport, a supplement that provides all the cardiovascular benefits of the original Bergamet, but with additional additives designed to aid athletes and those with active lifestyles. Bergamet Sport is recommended and used by professional and college athletes throughout the world, helps them improve stamina, reduce recovery time, and muscle inflammation. Bergamet Sport is Informed Sport certified, so athletes can feel confident that it's all natural and it has been banned substance tested. But even if you're not a pro athlete or just getting a workout once a week or so, Bergamet Sport is still worth a try. It can help you work out harder, recover easier, without worrying about being sore or tired the next day. I've used the products myself. I've recommended them to patients. We use them in our family. And I've done so just as physicians and cardiologists around the world have done. And Bergamet Plus is excellent for what's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which has just passed all other forms of liver disease in terms of causing cirrhosis. So it's something that is a major health issue presently and needs to be paid attention to. For a limited time, our listeners can save 10% on their order by entering code DRDREW at checkout. That is DRDREW, all one word. Try Bergamet Sport for yourself. Visit bergamet.com. That is BERGAMET.com. Or just click the Bergamet banner at drdrew.com.
Hey, everybody. It is the Swole Patrol Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Catherwood. And Dr. Drew is at Dr. Drew, of course. Join the email list today. Send your questions. drdrew.com/contact. and put Swole at the top of the email so we can get your comments. And this will get you a weekly email reminder with a link to this show and all the great shows that Dr. Drew and I do, and all the shows that Dr. Drew does by himself, and of course with Adam Carolla, the great Ace Man. Please tell a friend and subscribe on iTunes. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And on Podbean or Google Play. All 3 help us out. We also are on YouTube/Dr. Drew, and hope you can give us all your comments, even if you're a troll and you want to destroy our feelings and our emotions. Support our sponsors and the show. Click on the banners on drdrew.com for the links to products for special discounts for the products Dr. Drew and I endorse 100%. Send questions and comments to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Swole Patrol Podcast, or on Twitter @Swole Patrol Pod. Also, browse drdrew.com for the This Life podcast that I co-host on occasion, and all the other shows available like Adam and Dr. Drew and the This Life podcast. A lot of great stuff. Don't forget to check me out on K-Rock in the mornings on the Kevin and Bean Show. And be good. Be swole. #Swole Patrol.